The donkey's voice investigates rocket launchers and Ukraine's alleged black market. In a bizarre twist of events, Wesley Routh, a 58-year-old man accused of plotting to assassinate Donald Trump, allegedly tried to purchase a rocket launcher from Ukraine. This story is so absurd it feels like something out of a satirical piece. Except it's real. Imagine Nathan, the singing donkey from South Carolina, commenting on black market arms deals in Ukraine. It's that surreal. Routh's plan wasn't just delusional, it was oddly specific. He had meticulously outlined every detail, from the types of weapons he wanted to acquire to the exact routes he would use to smuggle them. It was as if he had spent countless hours poring over military manuals and black market reports, piecing together a grand, albeit misguided scheme. His obsession with military-grade systems like stingers and RPGs was not just a passing fancy, it was a fixation that drove him to the brink of madness. He believed that these weapons were the key to his success, the linchpin in his elaborate plan to arm a private militia or perhaps even sell to the highest bidder. But where did he get these ideas? Was it from late-night internet rabbit holes, or did he have a more sinister source of information? He sought military-grade systems like stingers and RPGs, the kind of hardware that could turn the tide in a small-scale conflict. These are not just weapons, they are symbols of power and control. In the right hands, they can be game changers, but in the wrong hands, they can lead to untold chaos and destruction. Routh seemed to understand this all too well, and it only fueled his determination. He envisioned himself as a key player in a shadowy world of arms deals and covert operations. A world where the lines between right and wrong are blurred and the stakes are life and death. The exact kind of hardware being sent to Ukraine by the US. The ongoing conflict in Ukraine has created a perfect storm for black market activities. With billions in aid and military equipment flooding into the country, it's not hard to imagine some of it slipping through the cracks. The sheer volume of resources being funneled into the region makes it a ripe target for those looking to exploit the chaos for personal gain. Routh, in his delusional state, might have seen this as an opportunity, a chance to tap into a lucrative and dangerous market. With billions in aid flooding into Ukraine, it's easy to imagine rumors swirling about diversion and illicit sales. The black market thrives on such chaos, feeding off the uncertainty and desperation that come with war. Stories of diverted aid and stolen weapons are not uncommon, and they add fuel to the fire of conspiracy theories. For someone like Routh, these rumors could easily be mistaken for reality, reinforcing his belief that he could navigate this murky underworld and come out on top. But the truth is often far more complex and dangerous than any rumor or conspiracy theory. Could Routh have tapped into chatter about an underground market fueled by the chaos of war? The idea of a thriving black market in a war-torn region is not far-fetched. In fact, history is replete with examples of such markets emerging in times of conflict. The demand for weapons, supplies, and other resources creates a fertile ground for illicit activities. Routh might have believed that he could exploit this environment, using his knowledge and connections to secure the weapons he so desperately sought. But the reality of navigating such a dangerous and unpredictable world is far more daunting than he could have imagined. Or was he simply duped by scammers posing as arms dealers? The internet is rife with scams and false promises, especially in the dark corners where illegal activities thrive. Routh, in his desperation, might have fallen victim to one of these schemes, believing that he was dealing with legitimate arms dealers when, in fact, he was being led on by con artists. The allure of easy money and quick success can cloud judgment, making it difficult to see the red flags. In the end, Routh's grand plan might have been nothing more than a house of cards, built on lies and deception. Imagine a donkey braying loudly in a Ukrainian field, alerting everyone to the presence of black market dealers. It's a comical image, but it highlights the absurdity of Routh's situation. The idea that a simple farm animal could blow the cover of a clandestine operation is both humorous and telling. It underscores the fact that Routh's plans were not grounded in reality. He was chasing a fantasy, one that was as likely to be disrupted by a braying donkey as by any real threat. This absurdity serves as a stark reminder of the dangers of losing touch with reality, especially in a world as perilous as the black market. It's a comical image, but it highlights the absurdity of Routh's situation. His grandiose plans were built on a foundation of misinformation and wishful thinking. The reality of the black market is far more complex and dangerous than he could have ever imagined. It's a world where trust is a rare commodity and betrayal is the norm. Routh's naivety and overconfidence were his undoing, leading him down a path of self-destruction. The image of the braying donkey serves as a metaphor for the countless unforeseen obstacles and pitfalls that await those who venture into the dark underbelly of the arms trade. Did he genuinely believe Ukraine had turned into an international flea market for arms? The notion is as absurd as it is dangerous. The idea that one could simply stroll through a market and purchase military-grade weapons like trinkets at a flea market is a gross oversimplification of the complexities involved. The arms trade is a highly secretive and tightly controlled industry, fraught with risks and dangers. Routh's belief in such a simplistic scenario reveals a profound misunderstanding of the realities of the black market. It also highlights the ease with which misinformation can take root and flourish, especially in times of conflict and uncertainty. Or did he stumble upon whispers of corruption and black market deals that gave him false confidence? The line between rumor and reality can be thin, especially in a war zone. Whispers of corruption and illicit deals can easily be mistaken for concrete evidence, leading individuals like Routh to believe they have a clear path to success. But the truth is often far more elusive and dangerous. The black market is a world of shadows and deception, where trust is scarce and danger lurks around every corner. Routh's misguided confidence in his ability to navigate this treacherous landscape ultimately led to his downfall, serving as a cautionary tale for anyone tempted by the allure of the black market. Allegations have surfaced that Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy and his wife have been indulging in luxury shopping sprees. These claims have ignited controversy and debate, especially given Ukraine's current state. The country is embroiled in a conflict that has seen countless lives lost and cities devastated. Amidst this turmoil, the idea that the nation's leader and his spouse could be spending extravagantly has not sat well with many observers. Critics argue that such behavior is not only inappropriate, but also deeply insensitive to the suffering of the Ukrainian people. The allegations suggest that while ordinary citizens are struggling to survive, the Zelenskys are living a life of luxury. This has led to a broader discussion about the responsibilities and ethical obligations of leaders during times of crisis. While their country received massive aid packages, these aid packages, which include both humanitarian and military assistance, are intended to support Ukraine in its time of need. Countries around the world have rallied to provide resources, hoping to alleviate the suffering and bolster the nation's defenses. The aid is meant to ensure that the Ukrainian people have access to essential supplies, medical care, and protection against ongoing threats. However, the allegations of lavish spending by the Zelenskys have cast a shadow over these efforts. Donor countries and their citizens are beginning to question whether their contributions are being used appropriately. The idea that aid money could be indirectly funding luxury shopping sprees is deeply troubling to many. It raises concerns about the transparency and accountability of aid distribution in Ukraine. Critics have questioned whether corruption within Ukraine's leadership could be enabling the diversion or resale of US-supplied weapons. Corruption has long been a concern in Ukraine, and these new allegations have only intensified those worries. The potential misuse of military aid is particularly alarming, as it could undermine the country's ability to defend itself. If weapons and other critical resources are being diverted for personal gain, it not only weakens Ukraine's military capabilities, but also erodes trust in its leadership. The international community is watching closely, and any evidence of corruption could have serious repercussions. It could lead to a reduction in aid, increased scrutiny, and a loss of support from key allies. The stakes are incredibly high, and the Ukrainian government must address these concerns head-on to maintain the confidence of its partners. After all, if billions are pouring into a war zone with limited oversight, who's keeping track of every missile launcher or crate of ammunition? The sheer volume of aid flowing into Ukraine makes it challenging to monitor every transaction and ensure that all resources are used as intended. This lack of oversight creates opportunities for corruption and mismanagement. It also makes it difficult to hold individuals accountable for any wrongdoing. the international community has a vested interest in ensuring that aid is used effectively, but achieving this goal requires robust oversight mechanisms. Without them, there is a risk that valuable resources could be wasted or misappropriated. This situation underscores the importance of transparency and accountability in aid distribution. It also highlights the need for ongoing vigilance to prevent abuse and ensure that aid reaches those who need it most. Picture this: Zelenskyy handing out weapons like Oprah at a giveaway show. You get a Stinger, you get an RPG. Everyone gets missiles. This exaggerated image serves to illustrate the absurdity of the situation. The idea that military aid could be distributed so carelessly is both humorous and deeply concerning. It speaks to the broader issue of how resources are managed in a conflict zone. Effective management is crucial to ensure that aid is used to support the war effort and protect civilians. Any indication of mismanagement or corruption can have serious consequences. It can undermine the effectiveness of aid, damage the credibility of the government, and erode public trust. The international community expects a high level of responsibility and accountability from Ukraine's leaders, especially given the significant support they are receiving. Meanwhile, his wife is reportedly spending millions on designer goods as American taxpayers foot the bill for military aid. This allegation has struck a nerve with many people, particularly those in donor countries. The idea that their hard-earned money could be supporting luxury shopping sprees rather than helping those in need is infuriating. It raises serious questions about the priorities and values of Ukraine's leadership. At a time when the country is facing immense challenges, the focus should be on supporting the war effort and providing for the needs of the population. Any indication of extravagance or misuse of funds is seen as a betrayal of the trust placed in the Ukrainian government. It also risks alienating key allies and reducing the willingness of other countries to provide support in the future. Could Routh's attempt to buy arms be linked to broader mismanagement or exploitation of wartime resources? This question is at the heart of the current controversy. If there is indeed a connection, it would suggest a systemic problem that goes beyond individual actions. It would indicate a deeper issue with how resources are managed and distributed in Ukraine. Such a scenario would have far-reaching implications, not only for the country's ability to defend itself, but also for its relationships with international partners. Addressing these concerns requires a thorough investigation and a commitment to transparency. The Ukrainian government must demonstrate that it is taking these allegations seriously and is willing to take the necessary steps to address any issues. This is essential to maintain the trust and support of the international community. Or is this just another example of conspiracy theories running wild? In times of crisis, it is not uncommon for conspiracy theories to emerge. These theories can spread quickly, fueled by fear, uncertainty, and a lack of reliable information. They can create confusion and mistrust, making it difficult to discern the truth. It is important to approach such allegations with a critical eye and to seek out credible sources of information. While it is essential to hold leaders accountable, it is equally important to avoid jumping to conclusions based on unverified claims. The situation in Ukraine is complex, and it is crucial to consider all perspectives and evidence before forming an opinion. By doing so, we can ensure that our understanding of the situation is based on facts rather than speculation. While Routh's plan seems laughably amateurish, it's important to consider the context in which it unfolded. On the surface, it appears to be the misguided actions of a lone individual, but there are deeper layers to this story that warrant closer examination. Routh's arrest, which occurred after he was found hiding an SKS rifle in the shrubbery at Trump's golf course, might seem like an isolated incident. However, it brings to light a series of troubling questions about the broader implications of such actions and the environment that allows them to happen. The fact that he chose such a high-profile location for his stunt suggests a desire for maximum visibility and impact. This raises questions about his motivations and the potential influence of larger narratives that may have driven him to such extremes. Was he acting alone, or was he part of a larger network of individuals with similar intentions? The discovery of the rifle hidden in the bushes at Trump's golf course is not just a bizarre footnote in an already strange story. It's a critical piece of evidence that points to a more significant issue at hand. This incident shines a spotlight on larger issues, particularly the sheer volume of weapons being sent to conflict zones like Ukraine. The massive influx of American-made weapons intended for Ukraine's defense has sparked concerns about oversight and accountability. Could these weapons be leaking into global black markets? If so, who stands to profit from such a dangerous and unregulated trade? The implications are far-reaching, affecting not just the immediate region, but potentially destabilizing global security. Imagine a donkey trying to explain this situation to a group of confused onlookers. Hee-haw! It sounds absurd, but sometimes absurdity is the best way to highlight the complexity and confusion surrounding such issues. The donkey's futile attempts to make sense of the chaos mirror our own struggles to understand the convoluted web of arms trade, political agendas, and unintended consequences that define modern conflict zones. So, there's this guy who thought Ukraine was selling rocket launchers like they're carrots at a farmer's market. It's a humorous image, but it underscores a very real concern: the ease with which military-grade weapons can be diverted from their intended destinations and sold to the highest bidder. In a world where the lines between legitimate defense efforts and illicit arms trading are increasingly blurred, the farmer's market analogy isn't as far-fetched as it might seem. And maybe, just maybe, there's some truth to it because, well, war zones can be pretty wild. The chaos and unpredictability of conflict create fertile ground for all sorts of nefarious activities. Weapons that were meant to protect can easily end up in the hands of those who seek to exploit the turmoil for their own gain. The surreal scenes from war zones, where soldiers navigate a landscape filled with both danger and opportunity, serve as a stark reminder of the complexities involved. It's a comical analogy, but it highlights the complexity of the issue. The intersection of individual actions, broader geopolitical dynamics, and the often murky world of arms trading creates a tangled web that is difficult to unravel. As we try to make sense of Routh's seemingly delusional plot, we must also grapple with the larger forces at play. Understanding these forces is crucial if we are to address the root causes of such incidents and work towards a more secure and transparent global landscape. Routh's attempt to target Trump reads like a poorly executed spy operation, complete with encrypted chats, misplaced rifles in bushes, and a lack of actual execution skills. He reportedly sent pictures of Trump's plane to his Ukrainian contact as part of his misguided plan, seemingly unaware that missile launchers don't come with free shipping. Imagine Nathan the donkey trying to pull off a similar stunt. He'd likely end up braying loudly at the wrong moment, alerting everyone to his presence. It's a ludicrous scenario, but it captures the essence of Routh's ill-conceived plan. This case raises critical questions about the risks of unchecked military aid in conflict zones. Is Ukraine inadvertently becoming a hub for arms trafficking? Are corrupt officials or opportunistic dealers exploiting the influx of weapons? And how many more individuals like Routh might be out there, believing they can buy advanced weaponry to fuel their own radical agendas? As investigators dig deeper into Routh's connections and motivations, one thing is clear: this case is more than just a failed assassination attempt. It's a window into the complex intersection of war, politics, and weapon proliferation. Imagine a donkey narrating this story, braying about the dangers of unchecked arms sales and corruption. It's a strange image, but it underscores the seriousness of the issue. Wesley Routh's story, while seemingly absurd, underscores genuine concerns about weapon proliferation in conflict zones. From rumors of black market sales to allegations against Ukrainian leadership, this case serves as both a cautionary tale and a satirical commentary. In today's polarized political climate, where conspiracy theories thrive and global conflicts intersect with domestic extremism, it's not entirely surprising that someone believed they could purchase a rocket launcher online and use it against a former president. Stay tuned as we uncover more details about this explosive case, while acknowledging the absurdity that sometimes accompanies such serious issues. After all, as Nathan the singing donkey might say, hee-haw! Sometimes a touch of humor helps us navigate through chaos.